The stars outside the massive view screen flickered with an eerie silence, broken only by the soft hum of advanced computer systems and the rhythmic breathing of the bridge crew. Captain J1 Park watched the incoming transmission with a growing sense of dread. The holographic display showed fragments of data from Epsilon Prime, a distant human colony nestled in the outer spiral arm of the Milky Way. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The first signs came as static-filled distress signals, fragmented, desperate communications that spoke of an unexpected attack. Initial reports suggested a massive alien fleet had emerged from an unknown jump point, catching the colony's defensive systems completely off guard. Within minutes, entire settlement sectors had been reduced to molten ruins. Jai-1's fingers danced across the holographic interface, pulling together scattered information. The colony housed nearly 250,000 human settlers, researchers, terraformers, and their families who had spent decades transforming a hostile planet into a potential new home for humanity. Now, those same people were fighting for survival against an enemy they didn't understand. Communications Specialist Chen, Jai-1 called out, her voice calm but razor-sharp. "Patch me through to Earth Command. I want direct link authorization." The young communication officer worked quickly, his fingers moving with practiced efficiency. Moments later, a secure channel opened, revealing the stern face of Admiral Kwok from Earth's Interstellar Defense Command. "Report, Captain Park." The Admiral's voice was tight, controlled. Jai-1 summarized the incoming data. The attack was unlike anything in human military records. The alien vessels moved with a precision that suggested more than random aggression. This was a calculated strategic assault designed to maximize destruction while minimizing resistance. Satellite imagery revealed massive energy signatures unlike any known weapon systems. The attacking ships appeared biomechanical, with hull structures that seemed to shift and adapt in real time. Traditional human defensive protocols would be useless against such technology. "They're not just attacking," Jai-1 said slowly, her mind processing the tactical implications. "They're systematically destroying our infrastructure. Communication relays, power generation centers, colonial defense networks, all targeted with surgical precision." Admiral Kwok's expression hardened. How many survivors? The question hung in the air, heavy with potential tragedy. Initial estimates suggested less than 30% of the colonial population remained alive. Escape pods and emergency shuttles were launching randomly, hoping to break through the alien blockade. Most would not survive. Jai-1 watched as another section of the colony erupted in a massive energy explosion. The aliens were methodical, eliminating every potential resistance point with cold, calculated efficiency. "We need to mobilize," she said, her voice steady. "This is more than an attack. This is an extinction-level threat." The bridge crew worked silently, each understanding the gravity of the moment. Humanity had explored the stars for decades, believing themselves progressive, peaceful. Now they faced a reality where another civilization saw them not as potential allies, but as targets for complete elimination. Sensor readings continued to pour in. The alien fleet consisted of approximately 287 primary combat vessels, each capable of destroying multiple planetary defense platforms. Their technology suggested a civilization far more advanced than human expectations. But humans had always been adaptable. Where other species saw limitation, humanity saw opportunity. Jai-1's hands moved across the tactical display, already formulating potential response strategies. The aliens might have superior technology, but they had made one critical mistake. They had awakened humanity's potential for total, uncompromising warfare. "Begin emergency mobilization protocols," she commanded. "Contact every human settlement. This is no longer about diplomacy. This is about survival." The bridge erupted into controlled chaos. Communication channels opened across human-controlled space. Military bases that had been dormant for generations now sprang into immediate action. Research facilities that had been studying theoretical weapon designs were now being transformed into active production centers. Humanity was going to war. As the first distress signals from Epsilon Prime faded into static, Captain G1 Park understood that everything was about to change. The universe had just introduced itself, not as a place of peaceful exploration, but as a battlefield where only the most prepared would survive. And humanity was about to show exactly how prepared they could be. The global response was immediate and overwhelming. Within hours of the first transmission from Epsilon Prime, every major human research facility transformed into a war machine. Dr. Hyun Kim stood in the central laboratory of the Advanced Weapons Research Complex, surrounded by holographic displays and prototype technologies that had been hidden from public view for decades. "We knew this day might come," he muttered, reviewing classified weapon designs that had been kept secret even from most government officials. The attack on Epsilon Prime had triggered protocols developed during humanity's most paranoid strategic planning sessions. Quantum computing centers across Earth began working at unprecedented speeds. Artificial intelligence systems that had previously been used for scientific research now calculated potential weapon configurations, battle strategies, and technological countermeasures. The machines worked tirelessly, processing millions of tactical scenarios per second. In orbital research stations, scientists who had spent years developing theoretical weapon systems now worked with a desperate urgency. Nanotechnology that could disassemble matter at the molecular level, energy projection systems capable of destroying entire planetary networks, and adaptive combat algorithms were no longer academic exercises. They were humanity's survival tools. Military production facilities that had been dormant for generations suddenly roared to life. Massive construction platforms began assembling warships using materials and designs that pushed the boundaries of known physics. Shipyards that had previously constructed peaceful exploration vessels now created instruments of pure, calculated destruction. Captain Jaewon Park received continuous update reports. Each transmission revealed another layer of humanity's hidden potential. Weapons that had existed only in theoretical research papers were now being rapidly prototyped and prepared for deployment. The global effort was unlike anything in human history. National boundaries disappeared as every human resource was directed toward a single goal, preparing a response that would ensure the species' survival. Scientists who had previously competed now worked in perfect coordination, sharing knowledge and resources with unprecedented speed. Dr. Kim's team developed a breakthrough in quantum entanglement weapons. These weren't just traditional armaments. They were systems that could predict and neutralize enemy defensive capabilities before an attack could even be launched. Each weapon was essentially a living system, capable of adapting in real time to changing battlefield conditions. Psychological warfare divisions worked equally hard. They analyzed the limited data from the Epsilon Prime attack, developing communication strategies designed to demoralize and confuse the alien attackers. If humanity couldn't immediately match their technological superiority, they would use intelligence and psychological manipulation. Orbital defense platforms that had been considered museum pieces were quickly upgraded. Experimental shield technologies, previously thought too expensive or impractical, were now fast-tracked into production. Every human settlement would become a potential fortress. Military training simulations ran continuously. Soldiers practiced against AI-generated scenarios that replicated the alien attack patterns. Virtual battlefields became proving grounds for new tactics and technologies. The human capacity for rapid adaptation was being pushed to its absolute limit. Space construction platforms worked around the clock. Massive warships took shape, vessels that were more like mobile weapons platforms than traditional spacecraft. Each ship incorporated multiple layers of defensive and offensive capabilities, designed to operate with minimal human intervention. "We're not just building a fleet," Captain Park told her senior officers during a global strategy meeting. "We're creating a statement, a message that will be understood across the universe." The message was clear. Humanity would not be a passive victim. They would be a force to be reckoned with. Experimental propulsion systems that had been theoretical became operational. Ships could now move in ways that defied previous understanding of space travel. Jump capabilities, energy management, and combat mobility were revolutionized in weeks. As preparations continued, a sense of grim determination spread across human settlements. The peaceful explorers had transformed into a species ready to defend themselves with total commitment. Every resource, every technology, every ounce of human ingenuity was being directed toward a single purpose. Survival was no longer enough. Humanity was preparing to send a message that would echo through the stars. The preparation phase was almost complete. Soon, they would take the fight to the enemy. The human war fleet emerged from hyperspace like a silent, deadly constellation. Thousands of ships materialized simultaneously, their advanced stealth technologies rendering them almost invisible until the moment of attack. Captain Jaiwan Park stood on the bridge of the flagship, her eyes fixed on the tactical displays showing the alien homeworld. The element of surprise was complete. Quantum targeting systems locked onto critical infrastructure with mathematical precision. The first wave of attacks came not as massive explosions, but as precise molecular disruption. Entire communication networks dissolved in microseconds. Defense systems found themselves neutralized before they could even activate emergency protocols. Dr. Hyun Kim's quantum weapons performed beyond their most optimistic simulations. Each projectile carried an adaptive intelligence that could reconfigure mid-flight, bypassing any potential defensive measures. The alien civilization's technological superiority crumbled under humanity's unexpected assault. Massive energy projections carved through planetary defenses like they were made of paper. Orbital stations that had once seemed impenetrable now became floating graveyards of alien technology. The human fleet moved with a coordinated precision that suggested something more than traditional military strategy. Target their central communication hub, Jai-1 commanded, her voice calm and calculated. Nano-swarm weapons deployed, billions of microscopic machines consuming entire technological complexes. Where traditional weapons would have caused massive destruction, these adaptive systems surgically dismantled critical infrastructure with terrifying efficiency. The alien defenders attempted to mount a counterattack. Their ships emerged from hidden positions, energy weapons charging, but humanity had anticipated every possible response. Quantum-entangled communication networks predicted and neutralized each defensive maneuver before it could fully develop. Psychological warfare protocols kicked in simultaneously. Broadcast systems carried messages designed to maximize psychological impact. Every alien communication channel was flooded with strategic information that revealed the complete hopelessness of their situation. The human fleet wasn't just destroying infrastructure. They were systematically dismantling the alien civilization's will to resist. Fighter squadrons moved like living systems, their AI pilots making decisions faster than any biological intelligence could process. Each squadron operated as a collective intelligence, adapting and responding to battlefield conditions with near-perfect coordination. Power generation centers disappeared first, then communication networks, then defensive systems. The assault was so precise, so calculated, that it almost seemed surgical rather than aggressive. Humanity was sending a message that went beyond simple military victory. We are not victims. We are not prey. Deep within the alien homeworld, leadership systems began to comprehend the scale of their miscalculation. The humans they had seen as primitive, as easy targets, were revealing themselves to be something entirely different. A species capable of total, uncompromising technological adaptation. Jai-1 watched the tactical displays, her expression unchanged. Years of preparation, decades of hidden technological development, were now being demonstrated on the ultimate stage. Every weapon, every strategy, every technological breakthrough was performing beyond expectations. The counteroffensive wasn't just a military operation. It was a statement. Experimental energy projection systems created corridors of absolute destruction. Entire planetary sectors found themselves isolated. Communication cut, defensive capabilities neutralized. The human fleet moved with a cold, calculated efficiency that suggested something more than simple military strategy. This was extinction-level warfare. As the assault continued, something became clear. This wasn't about revenge for Epsilon Prime. This was about establishing a universal understanding. Humanity would not be a passive species. They would not be victims. They would be a force that demanded respect. The alien civilization's collapse was total and complete. Within hours, what had once been a technologically advanced planetary system was reduced to a memorial of humanity's unexpected technological might. Captain J1 Park allowed herself the smallest of smiles. The first part of their message had been delivered, and the universe was listening. The total warfare phase transformed from a military operation into a comprehensive systematic elimination. Humanity's strategy moved beyond simple destruction, becoming a calculated demonstration of technological and strategic superiority. Captain J1 Park watched as adaptive weapon systems consumed entire planetary networks. The alien civilization's infrastructure collapsed faster than anyone could have predicted. Quantum communication networks predicted and neutralized every potential resistance point with terrifying precision. Nanoswarm weapons became the primary instrument of conquest. Millions of microscopic machines infiltrated planetary systems, consuming technological infrastructure from within. Where traditional weapons would have caused massive destruction, these adaptive systems surgically dismantled critical components with cold efficiency. Military AI systems operated with a level of coordination that defied traditional understanding. Each combat unit worked as a collective intelligence, processing battlefield information millions of times faster than biological entities. The alien defenders found themselves fighting an enemy that could predict and neutralize their strategies before they could even be implemented. Energy projection systems created massive corridors of absolute control. Planetary defense networks dissolved within minutes. Communication channels were systematically invaded, flooded with psychological warfare protocols designed to maximize demoralization. The human fleet wasn't just destroying. They were completely dismantling the alien civilization's ability to resist. Dr. Hyun Kim's experimental weapon systems performed beyond their most optimistic simulations. Quantum entanglement technologies allowed human forces to understand and predict enemy movements with unprecedented accuracy. Each weapon carried an adaptive intelligence that could reconfigure mid-attack, making traditional defensive strategies completely obsolete. The assault wasn't just about military victory. It was a comprehensive message being delivered across the universe. Humanity would not be a passive species. They would not be victims. They would be a force that demanded absolute respect. Fighter squadrons moved like living systems, their AI pilots making decisions faster than biological intelligence could process. Entire planetary sectors found themselves isolated, communication cut, defensive capabilities neutralized. The human approach to warfare had transformed from traditional military strategy into something entirely new. Psychological warfare became as critical as physical destruction. Every communication channel was systematically invaded, broadcasting the complete hopelessness of resistance. The alien leadership watched their civilization's infrastructure dissolve in real time, understanding that they had critically underestimated their human opponents. Advanced stealth technologies made the human fleet almost invisible until the moment of attack. Ships could move, reconfigure, and strike with a fluidity that seemed to defy traditional physics. Each vessel was more than a weapon. It was a living, adaptive combat system. The total warfare strategy eliminated not just military targets, but comprehensively dismantled the alien civilization's technological foundation. Research centers, communication networks, power generation systems, all were systematically consumed by humanity's adaptive weapon technologies. Captain Park's tactical displays showed a level of precision that seemed almost mathematical. Every attack was calculated, every movement predicted, every potential resistance point neutralized before it could fully develop. The human fleet moved with a cold, calculated efficiency that suggested something more than traditional military strategy. Experimental energy projection systems created absolute control zones. Planetary sectors found themselves completely isolated, their technological capabilities systematically dissolved. The human approach wasn't about traditional conquest. It was about sending a comprehensive message. Do not challenge humanity. Do not see us as weak. We will respond with total, comprehensive elimination. As the assault continued, the scale of humanity's technological superiority became increasingly apparent. What had once been a technologically advanced alien civilization was now being reduced to a memorial of human potential. Every system, every network, every defensive capability was systematically consumed. The universe was watching, and humanity was making its statement loud and clear. Captain Jaewon Park allowed herself a moment of reflection. The counteroffensive had moved beyond simple military strategy. This was a comprehensive demonstration of human potential, a message that would echo through generations. We are not victims. We are not prey. We are humanity. The silence was more terrifying than the battle itself. Where an advanced alien civilization once thrived, only scattered technological remnants remained. Captain Jaewon Park stood on the observation deck of the UES Resolute, watching the devastated planetary system that would serve as a permanent reminder of humanity's newfound power. Earth's military command had made a strategic decision. This system would become a permanent human outpost, a living memorial and a warning to any civilization contemplating aggression against human settlements. Massive construction platforms were already moving into position, transforming the conquered world into an impenetrable fortress. Quantum communication networks broadcast the outcome across multiple star systems. The message was simple and clear. Humanity would defend its territories with absolute, uncompromising force. No diplomatic niceties, no extended negotiations. Any threat would be met with total elimination. Dr. Hyun Kim's research teams began analyzing the alien technology left behind. What remained of the conquered civilization became a massive research opportunity. Advanced weapons systems, communication technologies, and propulsion designs were carefully extracted and studied. Humanity would not just defeat its enemies, it would learn from them. The psychological impact was immediate. Other potentially hostile civilizations intercepted the transmissions, watching how completely the human fleet had dismantled a technologically superior opponent. The universe understood a new rule had been established. Do not provoke humanity. Orbital defense platforms began construction around the conquered system. These were not simple military installations, but comprehensive technological networks capable of detecting and neutralizing threats light years away. Each platform carried enough destructive potential to eliminate entire planetary systems within moments. Captain Park reviewed the casualty reports from the initial attack on Epsilon Prime. The loss of 250,000 human lives had triggered this comprehensive response. Every life lost would be remembered. Every attack would be answered with overwhelming force. Military training simulations were already being updated. The technologies and strategies developed during this conflict would become standard protocol for future human defensive operations. What had begun as a surprise attack had transformed into humanity's most significant technological leap. Diplomatic channels remained open, but with a new understanding. Human representatives would negotiate from a position of absolute strength. No more would human settlements be seen as easy targets. Every interaction would carry the memory of this comprehensive victory. The remaining alien population was given a choice: complete relocation or limited territorial integration under human supervision. Most chose relocation, understanding the futility of resistance. Those who remained would be carefully monitored, their technologies gradually assimilated into human systems. Experimental weapon technologies that had been theoretical became operational realities. Quantum entanglement communication systems, adaptive nano-weapon platforms, and AI-driven combat networks were no longer secret research projects. They were now standard military infrastructure. Earth's various nations, which had previously competed, now worked with unprecedented coordination. The attack had done what decades of diplomacy could not: Create a truly unified human strategy for interstellar engagement. Captain Jedwan Park received congratulations from military leadership, but her focus remained on the future. This victory was not an endpoint, but a beginning. Humanity had proven its technological potential, its adaptive capabilities, its unwillingness to be a passive species. The conquered system became a symbol. Its transformed landscape would serve as a permanent reminder of what happens when a civilization underestimates humanity's potential for survival and technological adaptation. One final transmission was prepared, to be broadcast across multiple star systems. Its message was brutally simple: provoke humanity again, and total extinction awaits. The universe listened, and humanity watched, prepared, waiting.